I'm Kim Carson. Today my conversation is with Chicagoland real estate broker Arlyn Tratt. Arlyn was named multi-million-dollar producer for the Chicago Association of Realtors. He made it to the leaderboard of the top recommended agents in all of Chicago. He received the Skokie Chamber of Commerce New Member of the Year Award, and he was recently featured on the Coldwell Banker Every Dream Deserves a Chance blog. Thank you so much for talking to me today, Arlyn.
Yeah, this is great. I'm really excited to be on the call with you.
Well, Arlyn, tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, did I see somewhere that you're a second-generation real estate broker?
I am, yeah. My dad, he had a Century 21 office in the Northwest Suburbs. He had 5 offices that he ran in the 80s. And my mother, she was a real estate broker in that area. My brother's a real estate broker, or has his license. And over the years, my dad purchased rental properties, and I was always there with him cleaning up. If every now and again you'd have a tenant that would move out in the middle of the night,
right? And
we would have to go over there and clean up. But I was always around. I was kind of his right hand man. So I've always been involved in real estate.
Yeah, you kind of had the knowledge firsthand, right?
Yeah.
So how long have you been a real estate broker?
I've been a real estate broker for about 17 years. And I've done everything from, when I first started, I was working at a rental agency in Chicago for a few years. I got to know the city very, very well. And I jumped from the rental agency into sales, got my broker's license. And I've done everything from help people buy a studio to a multifamily property. And I myself have owned and managed my own properties. I've owned multifamily properties all over the city, from the south side to Ravenswood, and some condominiums and houses in Chicago.
Yeah, and I read on one of the websites that you just really enjoy helping people through. It's just such a stressful and overwhelming event moving into a new home. What is it that you enjoy so much about that?
Well, it's a process, and I love the hand-holding, and I love being the neighborhood expert for people. And It's not just about knowing the market. Part of me wishes that I was one of these people that could smell oil, where you just sort of walk through a field and you can smell the oil that's 500 feet below.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like that with real estate in regards where it doesn't really matter where it is. I have a really keen sense of the market. It's just part of me. It's what I breathe. So I know the market very, very well, and I like to be that source of the source for my clients. And I really love helping people basically take that next step in their life, whether it's the first investment for them, being a small studio or a single-family home, or if it's a primary residence where somebody's getting out of rental and they're making that first big commitment. I like being there, putting the whole team together and making the transition smooth and easy for them.
Yeah, it's just so helpful. I've gone through that process recently, so I know firsthand that the agent, I suppose, has to be very calm during this time. So Arlyn,
it's a very stressful process. It's a lot. These properties, they cost a lot of money, and that causes a lot of stress. And it's something that it's very difficult to navigate on your own, especially while you're working a full-time job and have other responsibilities. So it's great to have somebody, a guide on the side, somebody like me, that can coast you through, navigate you through the whole, everything from finding the property to finding the right person for financing to helping with the inspection, setting up the final walkthrough, and just guide, just somebody to bounce the ideas off and get you through the transaction where you're going to go through as little stress as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you have a program that you say is pretty much perfect for anyone who is in a distressed situation, and it's called the Rent-to-Own program. So how does it work, and who exactly is it for?
Well, it's a really unbelievable program. And like I said, I've been in real estate for years and years, and I'm very familiar with lease-to-own, rent-to-own, option-to-buy properties. A typical rent-to-own or option-to-buy scenario would be the resident would give the owner almost like a down payment, and they would purchase the property at a later date. a typical program would work where if the resident decided they wanted to buy the property, then that down payment would go towards the purchase price of the home.
Oh.
But if they decided they didn't want to buy that property for whatever reason, maybe the market went down, maybe their lives changed, whatever, they would lose that down payment that they gave. So the way this program works, there's no penalty. So you could literally look for a rent-to-own property. It could be any property that's for sale that fits in the right criteria for this company. And the company basically goes by high school boundaries. For the most part, I can basically help people with finding out where the homes are that would work for them. But the thing that's great is there's no penalty if you don't purchase. So you could get into a property that's really nice, and if you decide you don't want to buy it, you don't lose any money. So there's really no risk. It literally turns a rental into a potential rent-to-own, but if you decide you don't want to buy it, you don't lose any money. And then the company, the investor, they're paying cash for these properties. So when you're paying cash for properties, you're generally getting a discount depending on the market that you're in. So the investor could purchase the property at a great price, and when you buy it back from them a year or 2 or 3 years later, you have up to 5 years to purchase the property, you can still get it below where the market might be at that point.
Yeah. And now we've already talked about some of the benefits, but what about credit? Because, in this economy, not everybody has an 800 credit score. So if your credit is bad, or maybe it isn't even as good as it once was, can someone still qualify for this?
Yes. Not everybody will qualify, but in general, this program was set up for property owners that are going through some sort of a distress situation, whether it's a foreclosure or a bankruptcy, or they're losing their home, or they're doing a short sale. This program was actually designed for homeowners that are in a distress situation. So bring on the credit. I can't say that everyone will be approved, but there's a really good chance that if someone does have poor credit, that they'll be able to get approved for the program.
Wonderful. So where can someone get started? So if somebody's listening and they're saying, oh my gosh, this sounds perfect for me, how do you get started?
The best way to get started is to contact me, and I can do a preliminary interview with the person and get them and show them how to navigate and get pre-approved and take them to the next step. The whole process literally can take 2 days. And once you get approved for this program, it's just like walking around with a briefcase full of cash and finding the property and going to get it. Once you find the property and identify it, and as long as the property meets the criteria, the turnaround time is quick. I mean, I can get a contract submitted on the purchase of the property within about 2 hours after we find the property. So it's really, really quick.
Unbelievable.
This company is looking to purchase about 100 properties a month. So they want to buy properties.
So I guess if it sounds like the rent-to-own program is perfect for you, you can contact Arlyn, and his number, let me give you all the info too. Arlyn Tratt is with Coldwell Banker Residential Real Estate. His number is 312-244-3760, or you can contact him via email at arlyn@arlyntratt.com, and that's spelled ARLYN at arlyntratt.com. Hey, thank you so much for talking to me a little bit today.
Kim, this has been a great pleasure. I'm so glad that I was on your show, and I really loved speaking with you.
And I think this is just what we need right now with the state of the economy and housing.
It really is. It's kind of like having a little angel. I've talked to so many people that absolutely thought that they were just at their wits' end because they were losing their home to foreclosure. They couldn't find a rental because a lot of the landlords didn't want to take their credit, and this was like a beam of light and hope for them. So many people love this program.
Well, Arlyn, thanks for doing what you do, and it was a joy talking to you today.
You too. Take care.